Welcome to Mind Over Matter, where we feature young Jamaicans who are shooting for the stars. I'm your host, Margaret Boyne. Remember, if you haven't subscribed to the channel as yet, please do and click the notification bell. My guest is another remarkable young man from the inner city called Payne Land. He faced the harsh realities of inner city life where violence and limited resources could easily have defined his path. But he holds a bachelor's in accounts with a minor in economics from the University of the West Indies, thanks to the support of his high school alumni. He shares his journey of perseverance and determination. My guest is Jaheim Grant. Welcome to Mind Over Matter, Jaheim.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
Yes, man. Your story is one of overcoming, one of beating the odds. You're from Payne Land, and when I hear people talk about Payne Land, it's usually in a negative light. So tell me about a little about life growing up in Payne Land.
Life growing up in Payne Land, I think it would have been similar to any kid growing up in any community in the inner city. You would have a lot of violence taking place. From time to time, whenever there is peace in the communities, there would be parties and stuff. So I think it was similar to that of many other communities, but it wasn't unique.
So you were exposed to violence from early. So how did this affect you?
I mean, it affected my upbringing in the sense that you knew that you couldn't stay out in the street past certain hours because at any time, then
Mm,
shots could start firing. And
mm,
it kind of, you always knew that there were trouble awaiting. So you'd have to be
mhm.
mindful of that and try to steer away from that.
So were you always into books and studying?
To be honest, not necessarily. I wouldn't say so. I
Mm,
started really taking school seriously when at about grade 7. But before that,
mm.
I was like any other kid growing up. You just wanted to play and what, yeah, you don't really care about books and stuff like that.
So you did your GSAT and you passed for Tivoli High, Tivoli Gardens High School.
Yes.
So were you performing well at Tivoli?
Ye- When I got there, so when you don't pass for a traditional high school, then people would like to not celebrate your
Mm.
accomplishment. But when I got to Tivoli Garden High School, I just made my mind up that I'm going to hit the ground running. And I just started working really hard and I got good grades. I came first in grade 7 twice. So I would say I was performing at Tivoli Gardens High School.
So what motivated you though to say, boy, you're going to put everything into this, into studying and books?
I remember one day I had a conversation with my father very young, and he kind of showed me the parts that I had, and one, if I didn't achieve academic success, and I honestly didn't really like what he showed me, so I decided that I'm going to give this academic thing a try. Also, when
Mhm.
I remember at orientation at Tivoli Gardens, there's a section in the school called Chinatown, and there's a writing on the wall which says bloom where you're planted. That also had
Mhm.
an impact on me to say, okay, this is where I'm at. So just let's work.
Make the most of it.
Most definitely.
You left Tivoli High and you went to Haile Selassie. And that was in third form?
Yeah, I made a transition from Tivoli to Haile Selassie High School midway through second form.
Oh, second form. So what caused that move?
Well, Haile Selassie High School is in Payne Land as my home, so I just thought that school would have been closer to home, which would have offered me a lot more time to stay back at school, do extra work, and also take part in extracurricular activities. So that was the main driving factor behind the switch.
So how did your peers related to you in Payne Land when you start to take book and you take this thing serious?
To be honestly, a lot of people never knew about it because I am not the type to be going out and talking to people about my
Mm,
work that I'm putting in. I prefer to just work
okay.
in silence and let the success do all the talking, as they say. But so a lot of people never really knew until CXC result came out and they're like, whoa, really?
Mm,
So I
mhm.
don't think my peers really knew how much work I was putting in behind the scene.
So talk about what you did at Haile Selassie, how you performed there.
So at Haile Selassie High School, I regularly would top the class, and but on the bigger picture, I left Haile Selassie High School with 9 C6 subjects, 8 ones and a two. I did 2 subjects from fourth form, and then in fifth form I did 7 more subjects.
So I'm sure that brought a lot of attention, man. Tell me what was the response now when your results came out and everybody saw that you did so well.
It was a lot of congratulations. A lot of people were shaking hands. At one point, I felt that man's would have probably fallen off. It was a very good feeling, to be honest, knowing that all the hard work I would have put in leading up to those examinations paid off.
Paid
So
off.
I was really happy about it.
You decided you wanted to attend university.
Well, to be honest, before the CSET result came out, I was leading more towards joining the police force. But then I met some people at Haile Selassie High School, the members of the alumni association, and they kind of pushed me and said that whatever it is that you want to pursue, we're here to help you throughout the journey. So I then decided that I'm going to go to sixth form from there.
I have a big them up, man. So they decided to offer you a scholarship.
There's a full funded scholarship, so the scholarship
Wow.
covered my time in sixth form straight through my completion of university.
So how did you feel about that, man?
I mean, I was very happy because I know that there are a lot of students who would have been raised in the inner city and would have done well academically and didn't have that opportunity to go to university because of the lack of funding. So to know that there is funding there, I didn't have to worry about that. It was just me and my studies. Then that made things way easier than I could have ever imagined. And I'm really grateful for that.
So tell me a little about you, UE, going to UE now. Tell me about your experience there.
My experience at UWI is a unique one, as many of the recent graduates would say, being that the first 2 years were online, so there wasn't a lot of opportunity for socializing, whatever, and then going face to face for the final year after the pandemic, there was still a lot of not too much contact going on. So it was a unique one, but I still tried and enjoyed the last year of face to face contact as much as possible.
But that first 2 years, Jaheim, boy, I'm sure you weren't thinking about school would be like that at all. How were you able though to adjust to life in the inner city and studying online? I mean, know how in the inner city stay, appear nice, music playing. How were you able to adapt and settle down and concentrate during those times?
I just had to remain focused because even though school was online, which meant that a lot more people would have been home, so a lot more noise would be making. I just had to try and block out that noise as much as possible. And even at times, I just schedule my studying so I would study late in the night when most people would be at sleep, peace and quiet, so to speak. And that kind of helped a lot, to be honest.
But even while you were going to Haile Selassie, what would you say were some of the strategies that you use to achieve those grades?
I am one who doesn't procrastinate. So, especially leading up to those CSEC exams, I tried as much as possible to get my SBAs out the way. So, come March, April, May, then it would be just studying and preparing. You don't have any SBAs to worry about. And I think that was really, really, really helpful. So, that's something I would recommend to anyone. And it's about even during school time when like be prior to fourth and fifth form, like just do any project or whatever you have early as possible. And whatever time is left, if you can use that to get some leisure, then so be it. But get the work done and you can enjoy whatever time is left after that.
Talk a little about the contribution of the teachers who saw your potential from early?
With all the teachers who I have met, I don't think I would have been able to achieve the success that I have, to be honest. They do more than what they're supposed to do or what the job requires of them. So I have to
Mhm.
tip my hat off to that. They go out as far as get extra resources for students, have extra classes for us without we having to pay for it. So
Mhm.
staying late at school, assisting students with their SBS to get them over the line. So I have to say that teachers were really, really instrumental in my success. And without them, I wouldn't have been able to achieve the success that I have. Even meeting the members of the past student alumni, it was a teacher who came to my own one day and said, hey, there are some people at the school I would like for you to meet. So even without that
Mhm.
teacher, I wouldn't have been able to make that connection and there wouldn't have been any funding for me to go to university.
Mhm. So what you're saying, Jaheim, is that if the teachers see that you're putting in the work, they will always support you.
And they
They'll
would
go the extra mile.
more most definitely so because
Mhm.
they take pride in that they can help someone achieve what they want. So without the teachers, I wouldn't have been able to did what I have done.
And even while at university, you were telling me off air that they were not just putting the funds up, but they were also giving you mentorship. They were behind you during the whole journey at university.
Most definitely. So they would always check in on me to see how things were going, give guidance where possible. It wasn't a case of okay, here's some funds and that's it. They were a part of the journey. So I have to I am really thankful for that also.
For some of those kids in the inner city, tell them how did you avoid becoming a statistics? So some of them can look at what you have done and try to emulate.
So you have to be willing to know that you're going to lose friends because people are going to be going down a path that you don't want to go down. You're gonna have to just burn some bridges, so to speak. So that's one.
Mhm.
You're going to have to be able to envision what you want to accomplish and
Mhm.
know what you have to do to accomplish it also. Because if
Mhm.
you don't know the path to take, then it doesn't make any sense. And third, you have to be willing and determined to work as hard as possible. Because if you
Mhm.
don't work, then you won't have you won't achieve success because that's the formula to success. Like you have to
Mhm.
work hard.
So tell me a little about your parents. Do you live with your parents?
I live with my father, but I lived with my mother earlier on. But my mother doesn't really. My mother's home is not far from where my father lives. It's about a minute or two walk. So my parents have always been in my life growing up.
What talk though, Jaheim, about the role of your father and your father being in your life? How important was that towards your success?
It was very important, and I had mentioned initially that he had showed me the paths that were available to me, and without academic success, what it would have been like. And as I said, I didn't like that, so I decided to go and work hard. And also having a father in your life, he also shielded me from all the negativity that would have come with being raised in such a community. So he did play a very important part in me achieving my success.
So at UWI, you did accounting, a minor in econ.
Yes.
So you have a love for accounting. When did it start?
I started like in accounting as soon as I was introduced to it in third form. Like I was always good with numbers, and then so I was good at math, and then accounting is less math but more structured. So
Mhm.
I was just always good at it, and I just fell in love with it from about third form.
Tell me a little about graduation day now. As you sit there, you're waiting to go up. What were some of the things that were running through your mind?
I was just feeling really happy and elated, like, yes, finally, like I have done what I have set out to do a few years back. So that was a really proud moment for me, hearing my name being called, graduating with first class honors. So that was really, really a very happy moment for me.
And your parents were there.
Yes, they were cheering me on, so, and that was
Mm.
a special moment also.
Yes, I can just imagine. You're now working. Tell me a little about that.
So currently I am doing auditing at KPMG. I started in November. It's been going really well so far, and I've been enjoying my time there.
Congratulations, man.
Yes.
Get a big time job. All right. So looking back now, Jaheim, what do you think are the most crucial qualities that have helped you excel?
You have to be determined. You have to know that, okay, I'm going to stick to this task no matter what obstacle might be in my way.
Mhm.
Because if, as rough as you think things might be for you in your circumstances, I'm sure there might be someone who would have having a difficult set of circumstances to overcome, and they did it just the same.
Mhm.
So there's no time for complaint, or there's no room to complain. You have to just determine and stick to the task. You have to be willing to work as hard as possible. The long nights, burn the candle at both ends, as they would say. And as I had said earlier, you're going to lose people because you're going to be going down one path and you're not. And there's not room for both avenues. So you're going to have to lose people and move on for
Mhm.
your benefit. So
Mhm.
you have to be determined and be willing to work hard and make sacrifices too.
Mhm. All right, you talk about mentorship. How do you plan on giving back to your community?
Well, I have volunteered at the Mustard Seed communities for disabled children. And I also recently volunteered at St. Aloysius Primary School. So, and even where I can just informally help someone with whatever schoolwork they're doing, then I try to do that. So it's
Mhm.
just those small things that I've been doing recently.
So you're still living in Payne Land. So how do they look on you now?
I mean, a lot of people show me like love and respect, to be honest. They are proud of my accomplishment as much as I am, or maybe even more, to be honest. So it's nice knowing that I have the community support along my
Mhm.
journey.
Before you leave though, talk to some of the youth. Some of the youths them at Payne Land or any inner city who feel that boy the only option is scamming. That's the only way out.
Well, I am a living proof that that's not the only way out, and so many others before me. You just have to scamming it might be easy money, but it won't last because you have to be constantly checking over your shoulders, wondering when the police are going to knock on your doors to take it all away. As compared to academic success, then you can live as comfortable as you want, knowing that
Mhm.
it's never going to go away. So you just have to be willing to work as hard to achieve academic success. It won't be easy, but it's going to be worth it.
Any future plans to, do the masters? What's next for you?
Well, I think next I'm going to be working on my ACCAs as the
Okay.
master. You never know, but I'm not sure right at this moment. But my next academic step, I think, is going to be working on my ACCAs.
Mhm. Yeah. Great. I want to thank you for being here, Jaheim, and it was a pleasure talking to you. I want to wish you all the best at KPMG, and I'm sure you'll be climbing up the ladder in the future. And it was great talking to you.
Okay, and thanks for having me.